Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Saturday, May 25th, 2024. Good morning to you and happy Saturn's Day. We have a waning gibbous moon. We are in the midst of Gemini season, the Celtic tree month of Hawthorn, deer season, and Pluto retrograde. So for today's astrology, the sun is in Gemini, mutable air, representing communication. The moon begins the day in third quarter Sagittarius, mutable fire, representing optimism. Then at 9:47 a.m. Central Time, it goes void, of course. Then at 10:36 p.m. Central Time, it becomes third quarter Capricorn, a cardinal earth sign representing ambition. Mercury is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing practicality. Venus is in Gemini, mutable air, representing the spendthrift. Mars is in Aries, cardinal fire, representing initiative. Jupiter begins the day in Taurus, a fixed earth sign representing practicality. But then at 6:15 p.m. Central Time this evening, it enters Gemini, a mutable air sign, and the mode becomes questing. Jupiter is going to go a questing, and Jupiter will remain in Gemini until June 9th, 2025. So it'll be interesting to see the impact of those energies as we go forward. So Saturn is in Pisces, a mutable water sign representing nostalgia. Uranus is in Taurus, a fixed earth sign representing practicality. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water sign representing imagination. And Pluto, of course, is retrograding in Aquarius, a fixed air sign, meaning that we need to examine intentions. And the Pluto retrograde mantra is reflect, heal, and evolve. So for the waning gibbous moon, remember to release, banish, and journal. Get all of the energy that you don't want in your system out. Do spring cleaning. Well, this is a monthly cleaning, but clean your energy. Do not have anything lingering around that is not doing you any good. So for the Capricorn moon, we're going to go into, remember to do strategize, do organize, and do plan. Do not get tangled up with enforcement agencies. Do not cover emotionally delicate issues at the moment. It is not the right time for that. And don't become too ruthless. Now, on this day of Saturn, the moon has moved into very stern Capricorn, whereas Jupiter has shifted into breezy Gemini and Saturn remains in dreamy Pisces. So you might be feeling pulled in opposite energetic directions today. Try to redirect those contradictions and to resolve them into a little bit more of an adventure. Look for ways to bring this together to where you can actually move forward without, feeling completely conflicted, because with this combination of energies, it would feel very easy to feel conflicted. So just something to bear in mind, experiment, and don't be too hard on yourself. In other words, don't let that Capricorn moon, wrap your knuckles too hard. So for today's tarot, we have the Hanged Fae, representing sacrifice of the leap of faith and questioning convictions. Now, whenever this is the one card in the tarot that is naturally reversed, and it always has something to do with the changing of perspective, oftentimes giving something up in order to gain a little bit more insight. This takes us back to our myth about Odin hanging himself on the world tree, sacrificing himself to himself in order to gain knowledge and wisdom. And sometimes we do need to deny ourselves if we're going to attain that higher goal, whether it is gaining wisdom or whether it is anything else worthwhile. Something has to give. We can't have everything all of the time and have it all going our own way. That really isn't reality. And I think most people, by the time they've reached adulthood, have experienced that, even if they aren't quite ready to accept it. So a lot of times it's just about accepting opportunity costs, to use the economic term, and to accept that, sometimes we're not going to have it just the way that we want. So sacrifices are just an inevitable part of life. And if we don't choose where to make them, circumstances or other people will end up making that choice for us. So again, remain in the driver's seat of your own life. Have some control over this. With leap of faith, a lot of times we do end up making intuitive leaps, particularly within our spiritual practice. That is not inherently wrong. Now, we aren't always correct, but that doesn't mean that we aren't wrong to take these that we're wrong to take these leaps, because sometimes we have to just deal with the fact that we don't have complete information. and neither did our ancestors. I mean, they had a wealth of tradition behind them, and that's very would have been very convenient. And I'm sure many of us would appreciate if we had inherited a little bit more of that. But they didn't have all the puzzle pieces put together. And certainly we don't either. And so there's always going to be times when say, I know there are counter arguments to this. I know there are people who don't agree with me, but every instinct of my body is telling me that this is so, and then proceeding accordingly. And sometimes you just have to travel that road, even if no one's necessarily accompanying you on that journey at that moment. And then with questioning convictions, sometimes it is just a healthy thing to go back and check your premises. If you ever read the novel Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, that was one of the ongoing mantras of check your premises. If you are being faced with contradictions, check your premises. You're going to find that one of your premises is in error. So looking at that and seeing, okay, why do I think that? And does what I think bear any resemblance to reality, or is it just what I would prefer reality to be? Because reality always reasserts itself. In the end, reality always wins. So we might as well bring ourselves into alignment with that, rather than trying to impose some sort of ideal that just is not representative of how anything actually works. Now, today's Celtic triad reads: the three seats of the Rí Riorch are Tara, Cruacing, and Emain. And if you're laughing at my Gaelic pronunciation, you have just cause. I'm not even going to fight it. I know this is a personal weakness of mine. But if you remember, the Rí Riorch, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, if you remember that category from that was mentioned yesterday, this was essentially the kings of the overkings. It was that kind of class. And so this is essentially talking about their seats of power. Now, the first one mentioned is Tara, which is a hill and ancient ceremonial and burial site in County Meath, Ireland. Then we have the Cruacing, which is the traditional royal seat of Connaught, near Tulk in County Roscommon, Ireland. And then we have Emain, which is a mythical island paradise in Irish mythology, and the realm of Manan Mac Lir, which is a Celtic sea god, possibly the Isle of Man, possibly the Isle of Arran. I understand its designation as the Isle of Arran is a bit more controversial. Isle of Man is a bit more accepted. If you're concerned with that, absolutely do your own research. But it's very significant that these are considered to be traditional seats of power, that these are essentially where these high kings would rule from. So if you're wanting to do a little bit of a research project today, learning more about these things, that might be an interesting little journey for you to take. Now, today's magical intention is transformation. The color is black. The plant is the marigold. The animal is the bat, and the crystal is the obsidian. And there's something about looking at all of these images together to where I just all put together. I feel that transformative energy. I see that that black void of of possibility, of not knowing what's going to come out of it, of having energy shrouded, as they're just kind of bubbling along and doing what they do. And then I see that marigold, that little burst of fire that's sparking that void, and that will eventually bring about that sense of transformation. And that's one of the reasons why I bring these groupings to you. So you can sometimes visually, you can just see and just instinctively feel what energies they share and how they can be used for similar intention. So the question is, what do you seek to undergo a complete metamorphosis? Something about yourself, something that's going on in your life, the world at large. Where are you seeing a need for this metamorphosis, and what would you like to see come out at the other end of it? So, because remember, as one brew, what one must bake. So whatever you are putting into that cauldron of transformation, that is going to greatly impact what actually comes out of it, out of the end. So just doing a little bit of meditation on that today, probably be fruitful for you. So for today's pagan practice, honor your primary deity or a deity that is closely associated with magic. If there's any changes you've been wanting to make at any level of your life, implement them today. Begin that process. Also a good day to honor the garden sprite. You may not necessarily have one, but it's never a mistake to leave offerings for the Fae in your gardens or in your home, just to let them know that they do have your respect, and that if they choose to make their presence known, that you are willing to reward their efforts. And then, as it is Saturday, go out, do something fun today. There's a great lack of fun in the world. There's a lot of pleasure seeking, but there's not a whole lot of fun. It's a very interesting contradiction to observe going on. So go out and do something that is actually fun for you today. And then carry a bit of smoky quartz, especially if you feel a little bit of jumbled energies. We've had some planetary shifts going on, so you might feel just a little disordered. Smoking quartz can be a very good protection for you. Last but not at all least, for our journal prompt today, create the ideal menu for a winter hand fasting. I'd be curious to see what people came up with, especially people who might enjoy eating a little bit more seasonally and choosing from ingredients that are more readily available at different times of year. I think that'd be very curious. And again, it's all about, getting into the habit of visualizing how we're going to construct a more pagan world. So that's what I have for you today. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below, or send me an email at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com, and we can have a chat there. But that'll do it for now, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.